As soon as Hounds Guild shut, concert was making profit. Because we used to go along every month and ask him how's things going, Barry. He says, made a profit again this month. He would tell us, oh, so many 100,000s or so many thousands, whatever. He says, profit, profit, profit. Right up to the strike. When we went on strike in 1980. And then after that, I used to ask well, it was a 3-month strike, wasn't it? Too bloody long. It was a pointless strike. We should never have went out. But I used to ask him after that, I says, are we making a profit? He says, we are, but he says, you'll not see it on the books. I'm thinking, how's that? He says, what we're doing now is, he says, a lot of the work, the steel that Concert's making, is internal within British Steel, and it's going to Northampton. Is it Corby? Something down there. They were taking it down there and rolling it. Therefore, the cost was like transferred to them. And was Concert making a profit? They've already made the steel, but they weren't like charged for it, as shown on the books. So, oh no, you're not. But he says we are. And he said that right up to his shut, we're making profit.
Once they hit the big furnace at Teesside, no matter how much profit Concert made, we were never going to survive. I mean, we had 3 blast furnaces not making as much hot metal as the big furnace at Teesside, and that was their big, splash money. That I mean, they went to build 2 blast furnaces at Teesside because they thought the capacity was there, and they built the first one, and that wiped us out. There was no way that we were going to compete, because if we kept going, the big furnace at Teesside wouldn't have been up to capacity, and that would have been a white elephant.
When they built that in the 70s?
In the 70s. And the second one ended up in a field in Teesside, in boxes, and I used to go down every year and inspect the bits, make sure it wasn't corroding away. And again, that was sold to India or somewhere. It was never ever built.
So kind of the demise of Concert really is tied up with...
Well, definitely.
With Teesside.
I mean, like Fred says, when I worked at the plate mill, we used to have a plate sales department, and initially all the orders came to the plate sales department, and they're controlled in the plate mill in the early 70s. They broke all records, the plate mill, rolling special steels, high value steels, everything. And then it went to Glasgow. The pensions was there and everything, and they put the orders onto Concert. So all the other plate mills in Scotland, Motherwell Bridge, they hand-picked the orders, and we got the dross, which were thin steel plates for swan hunters and shipbuilding, and we couldn't make money on them. And also, people used to phone up. The customer wasn't allowed to talk to Concert. He had to go through Glasgow. And we had instances where we had slabs and ingots ready to roll. The customer had phoned Glasgow. Glasgow says, no, we've got none of that steel. There's a 12-week waiting list for it. We could have rolled it in 2 days. It was there. But we never got the choice. So it was hand-picked, and that's why the plate mill started to lose money. Freddie mentioned the strike, and that was another death to us, because when we were on strike, steel stockholders decided they would import. Right? Import rubbish, but never mind, they would import it. And our great union secretary, Mr. Sears, said, we will protect every harbour. I don't think you realise how many ports there was in England. And of course they started shipping the steel in. It was dirt cheap. When the strike was over, the steel stockholders, etc., still continued to import. And we never got that business back again after the strike. My big Jowl Mill. I mean, we used to send hundreds of tons to Jowl Mill every week from Concert. But they started importing. And in 1980, I started my own business testing the stuff, and 50 to 60% of the stuff we tested was imported. So,
So it was a combination, really. It was Teesside,
strike,
and the cheaper imports from...
I mean, what was Freddie said, what people don't realise, we were given a closure date, 1 September, then we went on strike in December, and we knew we were closing in the October or September, so we never had any chance of making our money up, and we were fighting to save, and the place was closing anyway, so why did we go on strike? They never got a penny off our union for all the contributions we made.
About the big blasts, as I say, there's a hell of a source of information with Sidebottom. He says, then Japan had all these big blast furnaces. But he says, people don't realise, he says, the world market's shrinking. He says, the Japs are shutting them down, and they're going to build furnaces the size of Concerts. But British Steel had put that much money into Teesside, a big giant blast furnace. They had to get it away. They had to set it away as if it's just a folly going to stand there and do nothing. So they said, well, we've got to get it going. And I think for about 5 or 6 years, it ran at half strength. That's all it did. It was never ever filled up where Concert could have carried on doing what it was doing. Well, it was a better Concert was a better steelworks than what they had down there anyway. All they did, as far as I was concerned, was make mild steel, end of, where Concert could specialise.
Concert introduced more special steels, as Freddie says. I mean, I worked on the shift where the first cast of 9% nickel steel was made in an oxygen steel making vessel. And we were the first people ever to make it. And we had, I mean, if you go back through the records, we had trade names that nobody else used. You couldn't buy it nationally. Checker plate, Spirocon, Roycon, there was other resistance
All
steel.
that stuff they made for the submarines, the armour-plated stuff.
Quality was there. It was political.
I mean, I used to
Yeah.
visit customers regular. The last 2 or 3 years of my life at Concert, I used to go all over the country, mainly putting mistakes right. And I won't repeat what they say, but when we were good, we were good. Very good. But when we were bad, we were really bad. But customers used to, when they knew it was closing, they used to phone us up, what we're going to do. I mean, as John said, we used to make some cracking steel. I mean, the plate mill was an absolute, I mean, it was the biggest, widest plate mill in Europe when it was built. I mean, how long did it last? It wasn't there big. I mean, I've got the film of building it, you know. And we used to make some fantastic plates at the steelworks.
The EU at the time was dictating what we could produce, basically, and the competition was coming in. So, as you said, if you had 8 places all split out, whereas one a big blast furnace like a Redcar could do it all, it was common sense that says we're going to close all these down and keep the one going, and that's what happened, basically. You know.
I mean, it was so competitive that when we used to go on complaints, if there was a complaint, oh, it's Concerts. And I used to travel the country. When I got there, it wasn't Concerts. It was Motherwell Bridge or somebody else's steel. But they blamed us.
I think one way of defining Concert, especially when I've been there, it's the experimental hotbed of British steel. Because anyone, small orders, I mean, the steel that we made weren't massive orders. Big enough, don't get us wrong. They could do it at Concert. They would try it, they would do it, till they got it right. And then you got tyre wire. Scunthorpe. When Concert was closing, Concert used to make tyre wire. The wires that are in tyres, the reinforcement and that. I mean, you got an ingot like that, and it went down to a wire like that. And Concert used to make that. You were heavily involved, and I was heavily involved in that one. And Scunthorpe, they were going to get the order when Concert went. Ted on the phone, what do you want? What are you doing such and such when you're making this tyre wire? What do you do? So they decided in the steel plant, tell them what they ask and nothing else. Don't expand on it. So they used to tell them, yes, that's what we do. Put the phone down. So they were doing, they'd still get it wrong. But it was a massive plant compared to Concert. You know, I'm thinking, you opened that big blast furnace. You weren't going to put a pile of steel in there just to make so many batches of tyre wire, where at the nice little blast furnace at Concert, you can take it across steelworks, do it, get so much tonnage out, and away you go, keep the customer happy. But a big blast furnace, you're going to put a little bit in like that to do it? No, it didn't work like that. That was the beauty of the smaller steelworks. And Concert, I don't care what anyone says, you can say I'm biased, it was the best of the lot, because when British Steel had a problem or they wanted something to find out, Concert got it. Why? Because they'd have a go at it till they got it right. And the other ones, bigger plants, bigger orders, they couldn't be bothered with things like that.
I always remember the day everybody said you could never make 9% nickel in an LD oxygen plant. And we made it. And it was spot on when they made it. But I mean, it wasn't just the technical people, it was the steel plant hierarchy. They knew. I mean, if you watch these old films, you'll see them looking in, and they can tell within a percentage of what the carbon was.
Yeah.
And I've been involved, we used to phone the results back to the steel plant, and I've had a shift manager come through the door, it was airlocked in the lab, and he used to come in and go, what do you mean we've missed the cast? you know what I mean, missed the analysis. Check it, and you would check it, and he was right. And that was just by throwing a piece of molten metal onto a floor, watched fizz. The carbon's right, tap it down. I mean, there was temperatures taken, and there was analysis taken, but these shift managers, the Tom Firths of this world, they were absolutely brilliant. They could tell you what the analysis was before you put it in the machine.
That skill and experience over years.
Yes.
Yeah. We're handed almost from father to son in the sense.
But they were
wasn't it?
proud of it, weren't they? This is Freddie says they were proud that it was considered steel that they were making, and it was a little family business, if you want, compared to Teesside. And everybody was proud, and everybody, I mean, you know, there was no, if so we all stop back or do another shift or do this. Nobody said, oh, it's not my job or that's his job. Everybody wanted to see a piece of steel, especially when it was something new. Everybody was involved, and the bosses involved you right from the top to the bottom, what they were doing, why they were doing it, where the plates would end up. So everybody wanted to make sure it went out the door in a pristine condition.
Yeah,
you know?
pride, didn't you?
Exactly. Everybody. I mean, there was waste, as there always is, but 90% of the people you worked with, everybody looked after everybody else.
You could rely on people, couldn't you?